Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and if you haven't guessed already, yeah, we're back on with the Amstrad, and progress has definitely been made on it. Like I said in the previous video, I've actually taken out all the old 64-bit by 4 MT RAM chips from the VGA, onboard VGA video RAM, and I've swapped in good new tested. They're still exactly basically the same chip, still MT brand, but I've put a complete new set of DRAMs in there. I haven't got around to testing these yet, but we will do. We'll see quite how many of these have actually failed, because it's obviously more than just that initial one. I'm pretty sure there's probably some stuck bits on a couple of the other ones, but we'll see quite how many of those have failed when I've got this off the bench and I can get the old Speedmaster back in play. We'll get those out of the way though. But I am happy to report, I think I've actually fixed it. I think that has sorted it. Now what I've done, I've basically fairly loosely reassembled the computer. I haven't done the power supply, the disk drive and everything are just sat in place, they're not screwed down yet. I have basically I've cleaned the two main boards, the motherboard and the daughter board. I didn't bother filming any of that because you've seen me do it 1,000 times, you know, just basically clean all the muck off them. I didn't have to do a lot of work with them, to be honest. They were actually not bad at all. It was just a little bit of dust which has been caused by the fan in the power supply. There was like a collection of dust at that side, a collection of dust at that side underneath the power supply. I've cleaned all that out, cleaned all that off the board. Like I said, screwed it all back down. I've actually cleaned the case as well. I stripped everything out of the case, and just with some paper towel and some very mild detergent, give it a quick wipe round, and actually it came up really well. I'm quite pleased with that. I mean, obviously it's yellowed on the outside, but that doesn't bother me. We've got that far. We've got the VGA plugged in to the back, so we're on the internal Paradise VGA. And I will get you up on the screen now, and I'll show you what it's doing. Let me try and get you. In fact, let's do this properly. I'll just pause the video and I'll get you set up properly on. Right, okay, that's about the best I can do. I've knocked the above light off as well, so there's no reflections. But if I switch the computer on now, look. Obviously we've not got a seamless setup yet, but we've got no glitching on the screen, and we've got everything we should see. We can see our Amstrad PC2286 version 1.11 BIOS. So we've got 640k base memory, time and date not set. All our usual, please insert a system disk into drive A and press any key. Now this is the interesting thing, because I have not touched this disk drive. And if you remember when I was playing before, the disk drive was not behaving with us. I've got a disk here. It's actually my old Interlink boot disk, but I've put the setup program for the Amstrad on here. So if I put this in the drive, and I press enter, that's what any key would do, but I've pressed enter. Now it does take a little while to actually start booting from the floppy disk for some reason. But if we'll give it a minute. There we go, starting MS-DOS. So you have to ignore the interlink part, because that's what I set this disk up for. But if I go into here, we've got A drive up there. Type dir. I've got the Amstrad setup program there on this disk, so let's type that. And there we go. It's showing that basically the graphics are working fine, all the colours working, we've got no glitches, nothing like that. And yeah, it's working. It's a fairly basic BIOS, so there's not a huge amount you can change in here, but if you notice there, it is reporting the extra RAM, so we've got 640k plus 1040.8 kilobytes, so yeah, that's 2 megabytes of RAM. It's showing us we've got a 1.44 meg floppy there. Our machine speed is 12 megahertz. I wonder if you can switch that down in the BIOS. Yes, you can. Wow. Oh, that's cool. That's really, really handy for some of like the very old games and stuff which weren't going to run very well on like a modern AT, modern 1989. But you know, imagine it was a game that was wrote for the 5150. It's going to struggle on this, but you can actually switch it down to 4 megahertz in the BIOS. That's super cool. Obviously, with no drive B fitted, and with no hard drives fitted, but it's showing the computer is basically working. Like I said, I can actually boot. I can actually boot to a floppy disk, from a floppy disk to operating system. Right, let's escape out of this. I think on one of these disks, I think it's this one. I think I've got Check It. Let's take that out. Put this other disk in. I think I've got Check It on here. Oh, that's what happens when you do it on a Windows PC and you forget. We've got one of them silly. Let's see if I can get in there. CD. Let's see if I can remember how you get that. Squiddle 1 space 1. Oh. So I've got, let's try that again. Oh, I can't get in there, but never mind. I'll get that so we can actually look at it, and we will have a look at Check It on here. But before we get to that, let me turn the computer off. And I will get you back down onto the computer. Let's get you zoomed out a little bit, and we'll move the keyboard. And the next thing I am itching to find out, does this hard drive work? And the floppy drive, I've done nothing to it, and it does still work. I mean, we are going to go in there, and I probably will give it a clean and a service, because God knows when last time it was done. But it does function at the moment. So what, I don't know why it wasn't earlier, but like I said, it is functioning now. But what I'm most interested in is the hard drive. Does it still work? And if it does still work, is there anything interesting on there? Is there any data on there that's nice? And how was it upgraded? You know, what was the last thing? If it still has an operating system, you know, what was the last operating system on here? Because I believe these shipped with DOS 4.1 and Windows 286. Now I am kind of considering I might even put this hard drive back to original configuration and see how the computer actually would be as it was originally, with all the original software on there. I do have a compatible mouse for one of these as well, and have a good go at seeing what it was like to use it as it would have been absolutely brand new. I doubt we'll be keeping it in that configuration, but it'd be interesting to try. What I thought we'll do, I want to see what this hard drive spins up like, because up to now I've not actually powered the hard drive up. So let's give it, I'm not going to connect it up to this computer actually to try and read it. I'm going to take it out of here. I'm going to put it in one of my more modern PCs, and we'll try and see if we can get the hard drive to recognise in that. If it is and it's got data on it, we can actually, you know, copy everything off that drive onto my bridge PC, so we've got an archive of it before we start messing about with this thing. And then we'll perhaps see if we can get this to boot in this computer, have a look about it. I mean, for all I know, this thing's been completely wiped. For all I know, it's completely dead, so we might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves there. But what I thought we'd do quickly, because it won't do it any harm. So I've not got it connected up to an interface or anything, but I'm just going to connect it up to the power supply in here, and we'll actually see if this drive will spin up and see what it sounds like. So I will reconnect the power to the hard drive, but that's all I'm connecting up, because I've not got the IDE card in, and obviously, like I said, it's no way of interfacing. We're just applying power to it to see how it spins up. So let's give that a go. Well, it's span up and it's seeking. That's that. I mean, I'm getting more noise from the fan in the PSU than I'm actually getting from that hard drive. It actually sounds really good for the age of the hard drive. I mean, what's this? About 1988, 1989 MinScribe hard disk. In fact, we've got a date on it here. Oh, it's a little bit newer. It was made in the 24th of February 1990, according to that sticker along there. Even so, this thing's what, 34-year-old? And it sounds great. It actually does sound really, really good. Right, I'll switch that back off. It doesn't sound bad spinning down either. So I think what I'll do, I'll get all this cleared off the bench. We'll pull that hard drive out. I'll get my bridge PC set up, and we'll have a go at seeing if we can actually get that hard drive to recognise on the bridge PC. So we can see if there's any data on there, and we can at least, if there's something that's worth keeping, make a backup of it before we start playing about with it with the original controller card and everything actually in this PC. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're back, and basically this is my, well, one of my bridge PC setups. So we've got fairly generic PC from the early 2000s. I think this is from about 2004-ish, or around about that time. I think it's Intel Celeron. It would be Pentium 4 era, so you know, Pentium 4 era Celeron, 256 meg of RAM in it. I think it's got like a 40 gig hard drive or something like that. Nothing special at all. The fantastic thing about it is it's got floppy drive on board, floppy drive controller, and it will do all floppy drives. It'll do from a 360k 5¼ inch all the way up to a 2.8 meg 3.5 inch, which was a special IBM format. But this will basically support any floppy drive. I've got a standard 1.4 meg floppy there, and I've got a 1.2 meg floppy there, which I might actually swap out for a 360 rather than that 1.2, because it's actually for making a lot of discs for, you know, older systems. Actually having a double density drive in there rather than a high density drive makes a lot of sense. I was actually reading out some high density discs at one point to archive them, and that's why it's got a 1.2 meg drive in it at the moment. But essentially this is what I'm going to use to see if that hard drive is indeed going to be able to do anything. If you can see already, it's already modified with basically one of the IDE channels broke out to the top here, so I don't even have to take the case off to use this thing if I'm testing with an IDE. It also has SCSI on board. It's got a SCSI card in there, so again, if I need to test a SCSI device, I can actually plug it in externally at the back and run it out here, and even power it from that there. So what I'll do is I'll get the computer shut down, and we'll get that hard drive connected up to it. I am using, because I couldn't find the USB mouse I normally use with this, so I am actually using a original like 1991 era apricot serial mouse here. It also has serial and parallel on board. Actually, essentially it's a really, really useful computer from communicating from old systems to modern day. Hence why they're known as a bridge PC. Because it bridges, you know, it bridges the age gap basically. Let's turn that off. I really need a mouse batter, perhaps to give my ball in there a scrub. I think it's a bit sticky. Not used this mouse for a while actually. In fact, I've not actually used this bridge PC because I also have behind me over there a Windows 98 system, also set up in a kind of a similar kind of veil really. Right, that's all shut down. So I've got the complete unit here out of the Amstrad. I can't see any reason why we need to disconnect anything when we want to just hook this thing up. So we'll make sure there's nothing's going to short out. And we'll get this connected up to this computer and we'll see if it'll recognise it. That's that way on, that's the right way on. So that's our IDE connected up. In fact, I can just plug straight in like that as the thing. So that's power and IDE connected up. Make sure that's going to be in a position where nothing can possibly short. No, there's absolutely no way that that can short onto anything. So let's switch on. And it has spun up. Right, see if the BIOS can automatically detect it. Yeah. No. That's the max, that's the main hard drive. Oop. Let me go into the BIOS and let's see if this is actually going to spot it. Right, standard CMOS features. Right, there's something here because you can see it's saying IDE secondary and it's not letting me select anything there. Now that will be probably this hard drive. So let's do let's escape. Let's do I'm pretty certain it can actually see that drive. It's just not, it's probably because it's so old, I don't think it's actually coming up on here. And I don't know why it keeps coming up floppy drive failed, because those were working fine a minute ago. Let's try F1. I'm just going to let it boot into Windows and we'll see if there's any chance of seeing it from there. If this doesn't work, I might actually dig the other PC out because it's slightly earlier. But I've had 40 meg hard drives recognise and work on this before, so I was expecting it to actually work. Otherwise, I wonder if we can actually just put its cylinders, heads and sectors, because it's all marked up on the top there. Let's see if this is going to find it. Again, I keep hearing the hard drive actually seek and do things. Right. Let's have a look at my computer, see if it's brought anything up. I definitely heard the hard drive then. Is that it? It's come up. There we go. Free space 26.5 megabytes. Total size 40.4 megabytes. It's called TRW. Let me get you zoomed a little bit on the screen there so you can see. There it is, as you can see. TRW. So let's see if we can open it. Yes! We've got all sorts in here. Mouse, network, Norton Utilities, DOS, Mouse B, Auto Exec, Config. Yeah, we seem to have everything here. Right, okay, what we're going to do, let's in fact what we can do, let's select everything. We'll go copy, we'll make a new folder, and we'll call that a, oh, might as well call it Amstrad 2286. Right, okay, lovely. And we will paste. Oh, listen to that hard drive go. So basically all I'm doing here, I'm literally just copying everything straight from the drive on there. I think what we will also try and do, so I've got things like WinImage and stuff on this hard drive, is we might actually try making a proper image of the disk as well. And then we've definitely got it archived and backed up for looking at in the future. Right, there we go. So we've got everything backed up there. Let's just have a quick try. I've got WinImage up here. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something about this mouse because it's getting on my nerves now. Let's see if we can get it on my pants. There we go. Come on, down you go. There you go. Right. It's ages since I've used this, so we'll have to, you'll have to bear with me. Create physical drive image. Next. And that's the drive we want there. 40 megabytes. Next. Locate a name of physical image to create. Well, let's call it Amstrad 2286. Shall I save it in RAW format? I think that's the best, isn't it, for doing this. Next. I think that's okay. Finish. Save. Right, there we go. So this should be making us a raw image of that hard drive. We've already got the data backed up here in a simple way, just in that file there. But I think it might be quite handy to just do that. And like I said, then I've got a backup of it. In fact, if it's useful and there's useful stuff, I could even upload it somewhere like archive.org. Once I've gone through it, obviously, and made sure there's nothing, you know, sensitive in there or that could trace back to someone. In fact, before I even think about that, what we'll do, well, as soon as this is finished, is we'll actually get this hard drive and we'll get it back into the Amstrad. We'll get it set up on the Amstrad and we'll actually try and boot the Amstrad as it's intended. And we'll do a bit more investigation on the hard drive then, when we've actually got it connected up back into the Amstrad. But for now, I'm quite pleased with this. Like I said, we're actually making a decent image by the look of it. We've already saved it and we've already proved that at least the hard drive does work. But thing is, with these old hard drives, especially when you fire them up like this, you never know how long they're going to run for. They could be fine and they could run for years again. You could get one run out of them, be able to recover the data, and then the drive die. So it's always, if you manage to get one of these old drives to actually run, if you've got the opportunity to pull the data off it, before you even like go through it and really look at it, at least if you've got it, you've saved it on your hard drive. I mean, that's a 40 gig drive, this is 40 megabytes of data. Right, that's it. I think that's right. I think there's everything. Right, that's okay. I think that's everything's okay on that. So I should have now a proper image of that drive. What I will do is I will get all this shut down now. I'll get the Amstrad back over here. We'll get that reinstalled in it. And we'll actually see if we can boot the Amstrad up, set the hard drive up and everything, and for the first time in God knows how long, see if we can actually get this Amstrad to boot from its internal hard drive. So back in a sec. Right, okay, I've basically got the computer back together. It's not actually fixed together, nothing's actually screwed together, it's just it was easier to get it all set up by putting the case back together. I've actually got 4 batteries in there, so it will for the moment retain its settings, so I can have a little bit of a play about with it. And I've even got an Amstrad mouse. This is the one off my PC 1512, sorry. Brain fart then. But that is compatible with this system as well. So we've got a mouse, because I did notice we have mouse drivers on the actual hard drive. Let's switch on. Now the only thing I haven't got connected up because I forgot to do it was the hard drive light on the front there, but that's not going to cause us any problems, I don't think. Right, okay, excellent. So we've got please set time and date, please set user options, but it's not telling us to change the batteries anymore, so it has actually recognised that the batteries are good. I've got that disk that I booted off before. Put that in the drive. Let's see if this is going to boot now. It does take a little bit of time to start booting, but hopefully it's going to do it. There we go, starting MS-DOS, lovely. Let me just turn that upper light off so hopefully you can see the screen a little bit better. There we go. Hopefully that's made the screen a little bit better. Right. And what we want to do is, like before, we'll type setup. Alright, there we go. We've got our time. We don't need to bother that. Let's see if we can set the date. In fact, let's see if this thing's millennium compliant. I very much doubt it, but let's see. What is it today? It's the 10th, isn't it? So 10-11-2024. Well, it's taking it. Yeah. Believe it or not, this 1989 Amstrad 286 is actually millennium compliant by the look of it. It's certainly taking it in the BIOS there. Right, what else do we need to do in here? Most important thing we need to do is sort the hard drive out. So hard drive type C, we'll enter on there. Unfortunately, if this is correct, someone has rather nicely marked on here type 17 hard disk. And also batteries replaced the 20th of the 10th, 97. So this computer was still in use in 1997, which isn't bad. So we'll type 17 there, enter. We should be able to save it at that, so I think we press, what do we do? Escape to exit, I think, and right, that seems okay. Enter. Let me eject the disk. Keep your fingers crossed. Is this going to boot from the hard drive? We've had nothing nasty come up. Come on, are you going to boot from the starting MS-DOS? That's running off the hard drive. Mouse.sys, yes. It's working. Found the mouse. It's working. Let's see what we've got on this hard drive then. We've got Norton utilities. I can't see any. Let's go. Tape.bat. I don't know. Slash. What else have we got? Config, root, network. I'm trying to figure out if this was a home PC or a work PC. I'm like pretty sure we're having Norton on and things like that. I'm pretty sure this was used for work or something. I wonder what LBL is. An SI. Let's try that. Obviously, if I find something that's right, let's /P. What's this? Arc link. This is communication software, isn't it? Con list. Yeah, this is communication software. Right, CD /. Is there anything else that might look interesting to? I wonder what happens if I type TED, because that's a COM file on the root. Whatever. There's loads of stuff on here. F10, does that get me out? F1. Exchanges, yes. Alright, so that's TED, 1986, Ziff Communications, PC Magazine, so it'll obviously come off a cover disc or something like that. Let's have another look, see if there's anything else interesting on here. I can't see any, you know, reference to Windows or anything like that. Let's see what SI is. Let's type it. Is this a game? It said sound in there. Oh, it's system information. Oh, at least we've got a sysinfo program in here, so it's telling us everything we need to know. We've got a 286, so it's got DOS 6.2 on it, so someone else, you know, put a later version of DOS on this. And it's got fixed drive of 41 megabytes, a 1.44 meg floppy drive, nothing else. We've got serial and parallel. Yeah, that's looking pretty much what this thing should be. Let's see if we can have a look at memory. In fact, it's the mouse work. Oh yeah, the mouse is working, so that does actually work. Cool. So let's see what it's doing with the memory. Doesn't seem to be seeing the extra RAM. Because this should have 2 megabytes in it. I can't get it to... Is that crashed? Oh no. How do I get out of here now? Right, there we go. Let's close that. So we've got system info on there. Again, I've got that backed up now on the Bridge PC. Let's go back on here, do a dir/p. So we've got CRW on track. I wonder what on track is. Let's have a look at that. dir.exe. Let's see what we've got there. Well, I don't know, it just seems to be like a copy of... We've got check disk, scan disk. So I don't think that's anything important. If there's anything else. There doesn't seem to be a great deal on here. SY Plus, SY POS. K623D now. Devices. No, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot on here, to be honest. There certainly doesn't seem to be anything like major interesting or anything like that on here. But like I said, we've got a backup of it anyway. We've got an archive of it, so to be honest, I'm probably quite interested to put all the original software back on this thing, at least on this hard drive, and see if I can get this back to exactly how it would have been when it was new. I've got a copy of the Amstrad specific Windows 286 for this. All I've got to do is find a copy of, if there's an Amstrad specific version of MS-DOS version 4.1, which is again which I think this originally shipped with, and just see if I can put all the original software back on it and have the original 1989 experience. You know what? I tell you what we'll all do. I just remembered. While we've got it all set up, I've still got them RAM chips to test. Why don't I get the Speedmaster and connect it up to this? I mean, this is exactly the kind of PC that the Speedmaster would have been used with when it was new. So just give us a sec. I'll get the Speedmaster out, get it all set up with this, see if I can find the software for it, and we'll actually use this computer to test its own old video RAM. So give us a second, I'll be right back. Right, okay, there we go. I've got the Speedmaster plugged into the parallel port of the Amstrad. And I've not actually got all the Speedmaster software on here because it won't fit on one single disc. But I've got basically all the chip test part of that software on here, so this should work. I've done this before with 720k discs and split it up like that to use it on an older system, so this should work. So if I type A:, and now I type chip test, there we go, that's working. And yeah, I can even use the Amstrad mouse to navigate it. So we want the DRAM library. Right, we know which way to put a DRAM in this thing, so I've used it many times. Let's select a device, and we want 64k by 4. Right, and I've got all that DRAM from the video RAM from this computer, so let's start here. I'll put the first one in. Now we know at least one of these, well, we know at least 2 of these are faulty. Make sure that's nicely positioned there, so that's in the tester. And let's test the device. That's testing, marching 1s through, marching 0s through. That RAM's okay, so we've got a good one there. I mean, I won't throw the good ones away. I will, you know, mark them up as what they are and say what computer they came out of, because you never know when I get desperate and I desperately need a 64k by 4 DRAM. Right, let's test the next one. Ah. Is that the one? Ah, right, that's the one that we we replaced originally. That's the one that actually confirmed it was the video RAM that was the issue, because remember when I first swapped that out, we got partial successes in, we could actually read the text, but we still had all that graphics all bad on the back. So we've got a bad one there. We knew about that one. At least one more of these I am expecting to be faulty though. Let's try that one. Ah, right. Looks like we've got another one which is completely dead. Let's just try that again. Yeah. So that's 2 which are completely dead. They just won't even recognise as DRAMs. Let's try another one. It might be that all the others are fine now. Well, let's see. That's in there. Yeah, that's working up to now. Marched all the 1s through, marched all the 0s through. RAM's fine. We've got what? 4 more to go, I think. 5 more to go. And we'll put that in. Yep, that's fine. Let's get another one. Put that in there. And again, that seems okay. We've only got 2 more to go. It might be that we just had them 2 bad DRAMs then. I've got these 2 stuck together. Come on, out. Come on, come apart. There we go. Not got them too messed up. I actually had a lot more trouble getting these DRAMs out of the board than I did that first one that I showed on camera. Funnily enough, I actually resorted to having to use a little bit of hot air just to help ease all these out. That's why that first one that we got out just came straight out of the board. Right, let's try that. Again, that's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We've got one more to test, but I think we just had those two bad DRAMs. Now, I'm happy to leave the ones I put in there in because they're brand new. You know, they might still be MT. Although someone did say that, generally speaking, the bigger MT RAMs, like the 4-bit ones, tend to be more reliable. I have found myself actually, one or two actually that have been bad now. Not quite as bad as it is with the smaller, like 64K by 1-bit MT RAMs. Those are pretty terrible. Yeah, that's fine. So that is confirmed. We just got two bad 64K by 4-bit DRAMs. That's what was causing all the graphics issues. Apart from that, all we've really had to do is sort the issues with the power supply out, get that power supply working reliably. I have all the bits now, I have the capacitors over there, and I want to sort that fan out anyway because it is getting a little bit on my nerves. It's a little bit too noisy. Before I replace it though, I'll try taking it apart, greasing the bearings in it, and see if we can quieten it down that way. And I'll put those new capacitors in the power supply. But apart from that, I'm really happy how this computer is coming on now. We've actually got a working system which will boot from it. What I think is probably its original hard drive. I have a feeling this computer, I think, is slightly later. I think these came out in '89, I think. I think this one's from 1990, judging by the fact that hard drive's dated 1990. So I'm wondering if, the price of IDE hard drives was coming down, and Amstrad just went over, instead of using an RLL controller and a 40 meg drive, they literally went over to using an IDE controller and a 40 meg drive in these. Everyone has always said that they always ship with an RLL, but I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty sure that that is original. None of the cabling looked like it had ever been disturbed or anything, the way it was set up with that drive. And they'd have had to be a very neat tech to get it quite like that if it was being done as a retrofit. So yeah, I'm super pleased with how I've got this working up to now. We're not finished with it yet. I'm going to go through that. I know the floppy drive works, but I don't know the last time that was ever serviced, so I will do a video on giving that floppy drive a service, and we'll just check it out, just make sure there's no capacitors in there that are likely to go bad. Give anything that needs greasing a re-grease, clean the heads in it, things like that. Just make sure it's fit for purpose and it's going to carry on working for a while longer yet. And then really, I think I'm going to put this thing back to original. I'm going to get all the original software, as I said, put it on here, and then we can have a play with it as this computer would have been, back originally when it was first bought. And then I think we may do some upgrades. I don't want to go daft with this, silly with it or anything, but there's a few upgrades I could think we could do to this system. So a couple perhaps modern, a couple which are, vintage, but will certainly enhance the system. I think in the long run it's going to have a sound card in it. Probably a larger hard drive in it. RAM wise, I mean, I've got 2 megabytes in there. I might take it up to 4 megabytes. I might leave it as 2 megabytes, depending on what I do with like Windows and things like that on it. For playing games on and stuff like that, for the era of games and everything that this would play, 2 megabytes is probably plenty. You ain't exactly going to be playing Doom on this thing, although you should be able to play Wolf 3D on it, which is something we will definitely have to try once we've got a sound card and everything in there. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed watching me progress with this computer so far, so I'll say thanks for watching and goodbye.